Top of the morning, my loves. Hello, my loves. Top of the day. I hope you are well. Sending you some peace of mind. Sending you guys so much love during whatever transitional time you're going through. No matter what, we're all on this same spiritual journey. We just may be at different levels. So what you've been through can help me, and what I've been through can help you. And so as I was awoken out of my sleep, actually at 3:08 this morning, or this day, because I slept with the window open, and apparently the mosquitoes are out because I got a mosquito bite on each cheek of my bun and on the side of my thigh. And so I decided to get up and take a nice hot salt bath. I lit me some white sage. I cleaned out the tub and I just soaked. But earlier today, while I was cooking, a thought came to my head because, again, for whatever reason, today was a reflective day. And I have reflective days, not as many as I should have, which I'm learning to, give myself my kudos. We are our own worst critics. Like, really, we are. We see things and know things about ourselves that other people don't. So, if you don't have control over your mind and your thoughts, then you are most likely overly criticizing yourself on this journey we call life. And it's crazy because we can give so much compassion to those outside of us on their journey of life. But when it comes to us, we hold ourselves to a standard of perfection, which could never be met, which will lead you to insanity because you're trying to obtain the unobtainable. Perfection is not obtainable. You can strive for it, and I would say strive for it in a realistic way in everything that you do, no matter what it is. But to think that you are going to be perfect, or to think that if you have this or if you have that, then things will be perfect, is an illusion in itself. And so today, while I was doing one of my favorite pastimes, and I was cooking up some victuals and just creating magic in the kitchen, I was reflecting on how far I've come. But one thing that has remained constant, that a terminology came to me while I was cooking, and I was like, okay, now I get it. So, on your journey, you'll hear a lot of people say things like, trust the process, which can be very annoying when you don't know what the process is, right? Or when they don't expound on when they say what the process means. And from what I gather on my journey, when they say that, because when I say that, it really means trust the process. And because a lot of people don't expound, like I can give you specifics from my life, but you may be on a whole different trajectory. You may be experiencing something completely different. So the process that I go through may not be the same process that you will have to go through. Yes, there's commonality. Yes, there are similarities. Yes, we can vibe to certain things. But ultimately, you are a different being than I am. So what I am doing may not benefit you. Now, the information that I provide to you, the examples, and my life history can be a tool that you can use to gauge or to fill in some of the missing pieces or the blanks. And if you've experienced anything similar to what I've experienced, then you can be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? That makes sense. And or it can give you a piece of the puzzle to help you bring into focus your own puzzle. And so as I was sitting there cooking, I remember I was thinking back when I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Get me out of here. I would scream it into my pillow like, I want to leave. I want to go. I used to scream at my pillow like, because I was in such turmoil. I was in so much pain just because I wasn't receiving the love and respect um, that I felt I deserved, which I did. I did deserve it. But that wasn't my process, okay? But anywho, as I was sitting here thinking it, and I remember thinking, because people would say, like, when you're watching the videos, you hear a lot of spiritualists or even psychologists say things like, besides trust the process, they'll say, uh, I just lost my train of thought real quick, and I'm not sure why. Anywho, um, as I was thinking back on me trying to get out of here, trying to get out of this uncomfortable space, trying to get out of being surrounded by people who do not want to heal themselves, which in essence, equal sign means take accountability for your actions. You have to. That is the only way to heal. That is the only way to achieve ascension. And I'm still in the process. Yeah, I got a couple of things I need to heal, and I'm not sure how. But every day I get up, every day I pay attention. I pay attention. Every day I become more aware of myself, and every day more pieces of the puzzle get put into the picture. And so today a piece of the puzzle came because I used to be like, they used to be like, I used to watch all these videos and they used to be like, they say things like, you need to be content. You need to be content. And I'm like, that's a difficult feat to master when you are around people who purposely try to make you feel a certain kind of way, okay? They ostracize you, basically adult bullying, which is crazy because I watched a video. I've been watching videos about different neurological differences. I'll put it that way. I've been watching videos about Williams syndrome. I've been watching videos about autism. Um, and I've been exposed to it my whole life, and I've looked it up my whole life. But there was one girl, her name was Jasmine, and that's how she put it. So I actually got that saying I just said from Jasmine, and I've watched her video a few times, and she resonates with me on so many different levels. But even when I was watching the videos on Williams syndrome, I'm like, that was me. That was me. That was me. So I am curious to see. Anywho, that's a personal thought, but you'll go on this journey and you'll hear, and they're not cliche, they actually have meaning and they hold weight. But when you're in the throes of a traumatic episode, or if you're in the throes of going through the dark night of the soul, where you're not only just facing the darkness on the outside of you, meaning people, places, and things that have put up an illusion, and you realize that they are not who you think they are, then it's like people say things like, be content. And that used to drive me bananas when I used to hear that and I used to talk to God and my ancestors and my spiritual guides and the ascended masters that previously walked this earth, like, what do you mean be content? I used to, y'all don't even understand. I used to be so like emphatically like, how do you expect me to be content in this place? How do you expect me to be content? Because to me, contentment meant being okay with the treatment that I was receiving, being okay with being ostracized, being okay with being intentionally, purposely, and hurtfully left out. But again, hindsight 2020, and I need you to understand, that's what I was experiencing. But hindsight 2020 part is when God separates you, that means He's about to elevate you. And I knew that. I didn't know that going into this journey, but I knew that, towards me coming out of the dark night of the soul. And you're going to have several dark nights of the souls. I've had quite a few. Quite a few. And that's okay because that makes me a better person. But back on subject, back on task. Content does not mean being okay with how you're being treated. Content does not mean being okay with being disrespected. Being content does not equate to you being a doormat and always giving. And because you really don't expect nothing in return, you are unaware and not unaware that you are not receiving what you are worth, that you are being cheated out of reciprocity. You are being cheated, and in essence, your energy is being drained because you're an empath and you see people hurting, and the first thing you want to do is you want to fix it. And because you can read people, you know exactly what they need to fix it. But what about you? Who helps you? And so at this time, you may be being called to be selfish with your time and your energy, and that is okay. In the beginning, it's going to feel difficult because you're going to be, and you're going to feel like you are neglecting those that are around you. But hindsight, what you're actually doing is you're paying more attention to yourself because over the years, as you've outwardly poured out the love that you so desperately desired and deserved, you forgot to love yourself. You forgot to include you in on that part of the spectrum. You forgot you. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened gradually, which is why you didn't take notice of it. And that's okay. It happened gradually. You know why? Because if it was to have happened all at once, we would always take notice of it because that 9 times out of 10 accumulates into a traumatic incident. Trauma can be positive and it can also be negative. 9 times out of 10, it's negative, depending on if you're on my channel. You've experienced a lot of negative trauma. But the one thing about me is that I was shielded up until I was able and old enough and emotionally intelligent enough to handle it. I will definitely say that God and my ancestors shielded me and protected me. I know a lot of people would like to say that it's naivete or that I was naive. But after watching videos on Williams syndrome, I wasn't. I just believed the best. I believed in that people were genuinely good. I believed that people, all they needed was love. I believed that hugs could cure everything. I believed that love was the end all, that be all. And watching the Williams syndrome, these children, these adults, these people that live these awesome, amazing lives, they literally believed what I believed as an adult. So as I'm watching these videos, I'm like, did I have a touch of Williams syndrome? But then when I watched the autistic videos, I was like, do I have a touch of? Listen, they tried to label me as autistic or ADHD when I was young and put me in special education, but my grades were just too phenomenal, really. And I was an enigma to a lot of my teachers. So, but, I understand and understand that why now. But anywho, This is supposed to be a quick message and it's already 14 minutes. So let me just go ahead and say this. A phrase came across my mind after 3 years or so going through this process and watching tons of videos, thousands of videos. I know I watched thousands of videos. And feeling like, God, this is just so unfair that you're asking me to be content with being treated, mistreated. And that's not what the message is about. It's being content with being uncomfortable. Hear what I say now. Be content with being uncomfortable. A lot of my videos, I was like, I can't wait to be in my own space, and I can't wait to do this and I can't wait to do that, because to me that equated me being free and me being able to be me. But why not now? Why wait until I'm away from this domicile? Why wait until I'm around people that actually genuinely show me that they care? Why do I have to wait until I'm out of the space in order to do that? Why? Why was my thinking that way? Because it was uncomfortable for me to be me in a space where everybody was acting as if I didn't exist, acting as if I didn't contribute to their life in a lot of positive ways, acting as if I was someone that I was not, because they were reflecting their personal issues onto me and trying to make me be them, which would allow me to take on their trauma and the confusion and all that stuff. No, 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 no. That's yours. You can take that. I have my own baggage that I'm sifting through, and I'm throwing things away and I'm resolving things. And so I don't need yours. And so today, when I was cooking, I was like, oh, that's what contentment means during your process. And it was funny to me. It was hilarious. Because that's how my brain works. It's like, I'll go through the emotions and the process, and I'll say how I feel. And I was just talking to God like, it's unfair. Like, why are you asking me to just be here? Because I needed to learn, no matter what space I'm in, to be me authentically, whatever that may entail. Whatever that may entail. I didn't realize that I had stifled parts of me from childhood away as a defense mechanism. And so I'm just taking things off the shelf. And that's funny, because that brings to mind a video that I was talking about, I believe early on in my process, when it was like, I'm taking things off the shelf. Or did I write that in my journal? But that's what I feel it was. I feel as if my true self has been packed away, nicely preserved. And right now I'm unpacking them. I'm taking them off the shelf. I'm recapturing the lost parts of my essence that I put away deep down to protect. I didn't even know I did that, because I didn't even recognize that my childhood was traumatic. I just thought it was what it was. I didn't realize it was trauma. And that's just speaking from a literal sense. That's not even bringing spirituality into it. So right now I'm just speaking three-dimensionally on what I experienced, what I felt, what I went through. But knowing the spiritual side of it, it takes on a different meaning, a different perception, a different picture. So no matter what you're going through right now, my loves, no matter what, understanding is coming to you. It's not going to come as fast as you like. And it's always not going to be as clear cut as you like, because part of this journey is you figuring it out. Because as you figure it out, you're figuring out yourself. So certain things will come easy, and certain things you will have to wait and find and wait for divine flow to bring you the information. As I keep going on my journey, and as I keep healing the parts of me that were packed away and I pull them down off the shelf, I become a whole me again, but it's going to be a different me. And I've always rose to the occasion when I've been hurt and disappointed because I always had hope. I'm literally like the Williams kids, the Williams syndromes, and they're not all kids because some of them are adults, and they just made me so happy. And the crazy part about it is that I lived my whole life like that up until I became aware of the other side of this plane, which is the spirit side, the spiritual side, the intent side, the energetic side, the vibrational side. Okay? You're not alone. You never were. You are stronger than you think and more protected than you know. Keep unpacking those traumatic experiences because the more you do, the more you grow. Now I say Ashe Mazel Tov.